It's finally here, the actual ranking for every season in Fortnite ever. I love Lachlan, but he got it wrong. He was close though. Lachlan, I give you that. You were close, but let's look at the actual ranking for every Fortnite season ever. Get ready, and in the next 5 seconds, hit like and subscribe right now. Leave me a comment down below telling me your favorite season in Fortnite, and let's get started. Now, like Lachlan did, we are breaking this down. We have the God seasons up top. We are calling peak Fortnite. When Fortnite was almost perfect, everybody was playing it and loving it. Then we have the same as Lachlan's, really fun, average, small yikes, and then of course the big yikes seasons. In your comment, also let me know your big yikes season 2. What was the worst season of Fortnite? Make sure you guys use code ThatDamnRGuyYT in the item shop, and let's get to season 1. Now this is the first place Lachlan got it wrong, and no offense, it was a long time ago, but season 1 is really fun. Not happening. I even asked you guys, and I don't think a single person out of hundreds of comments said season 1 was the best season, or even that it was really fun at all. But let me explain. For you guys who weren't around in season 1, it was the most plain, basic, dull season of all time. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, so I won't put it in the big yikes or even small yikes or anything, but this season had almost nothing. The basic weapons, no mobility at all. You had to run for hours, it felt like. Nobody built yet, besides like a little wall or stairs every once in a while, which some of us are like, okay, that actually sounds kind of awesome. No building, but Fortnite wasn't anything besides what people called a new cartoon version of PUBG. Plus, the season 1 map had so few locations. Most of the game, you're just running around and never seeing anyone. Literally 13 named locations and like a few other unnamed spots to even drop at in between. And there wasn't even really an item shop in season 1 except for what you had to level up to unlock. You actually had to level up to be able to give Epic your money. I mean, the 2 skins you could buy were pretty sweet, the Aerial Assault Trooper and the Renegade Raider. Then of course you could pick up Mako, or is it Mako, and Raider's Revenge 2 once you hit level 35. But that was basically the battle pass, and part of why so many players didn't buy Renegade Raider, because it was like $12 for one skin, which was insane for any video game at the time, especially since we didn't even know if the game was going to make it and thought it'd be a waste of money. So season 1 wasn't a bad season at all, but compared to where we went in the next seasons, it was average. But all right, season 2. Only a couple of you guys said this was your favorite season when I asked you, but this season was big because it marked a new era of Fortnite. We got a battle pass that went to tier 70 where you got the Black Knight. Sparkle Specialist was at level 56. You even had the iconic dances that like every kid was doing with the floss and the worm. We even had the Snowflake Umbrella for winning a game, and it used to be so big to win. Your heart would be thumping. You'd be literally jumping for joy when you got a victory royale. And that old Vic Roy banner, when it pops up on your screen. Some people think season 1 was the nostalgia season, but I think season 2 was, since way more people played and it started to get popular. And it was the first time we saw Fortnite like crack into pop culture, especially with the floss, like we said. But season 2 brought Tilted Towers and Snobby Shores, and we needed that so bad. And I think later on we got Junk Junction, which nobody really cared about that much, but we also got Shifty Shafts too. That became Tifu's favorite spot when he duoed with Cloaksy later. But as fun as season 2 was, people forget that many people hated Tilted Towers because almost the entire map dropped there, which was okay sometimes, and it was exciting if you wanted to land there. But if you dropped anywhere on the rest of the map, you just looted alone. You ran for 20 minutes, you wouldn't see anybody, and then you might die in the very first fight you had sometimes. So it was like 20 minutes of wasted time. Not peak Fortnite, not yet, but season 2 definitely hit the really fun box, but big things were coming in season 3. Now, a lot of you guys started playing in this season. It's so hard to tell if you love season 3 because it was your first Fortnite season or because it actually was that good of a season. Because some of you guys forgot about this stuff that wasn't good at all in season 3. But yeah, season 3 exploded and millions of people did start playing Fortnite then. It took over the world. It was all like space themed. There were telescopes and stuff, but up in the sky, we all sat and stared at like a shooting star or something one day. Nobody really knew until later we found out it was a comet that was coming to destroy Tilted. Like Middick says here, season 3, where the start of the Fortnite storyline started with the meteor. No sweats, classic old map, and good graphics. No sweats, he says again, and lots of fun. He just captures the feeling here, but this is what a lot of you guys forgot. This is when we discovered sweats, and it even became a word in Fortnite, and from this point on got way worse. As you guys know, season 3 was it. Literally, some people call season 3 the downfall of Fortnite, and where a lot of people started to leave in the end of season 3. Crazy, right? We also didn't get but one single new location in all of season 3, and that was Lucky Landing, which a lot of people never even went there anyway, minus Booga, who won the $3 million world championship. But the one big thing we remember from season 3 was Ninja playing with Drake. That almost doubled the Fortnite player base halfway through the season, but I think it was more than that. I think it was just a time that made gaming more mainstream. It could happen during any season, so I'm not going to count that in season 3, even though it did happen during season 3. Now, Lachlan, and maybe even some of you guys might put season 3 in peak Fortnite or like a god season, but season 3, I don't think it was there yet. We do really fun on this one, and you'll see why in a second. Now, Fortnite season 4, peak Fortnite. I'm saying it now. Here's why. Season 3, the meteor didn't even come down yet. That was actually to start season 4. So season 3 didn't even really have a storyline besides just the comet in the sky. But season 4, Fortnite took over the world and was the most fun it had ever been. The meteor hit. It obliterated Dusty Depot, turning it into Dusty Divot. We got superheroes, evil villain secret hideouts, and a massive rocket being built. Not only do I think it was peak Fortnite storyline, but peak map and overall peak gameplay too. Like, do you guys remember the excitement of logging on after the meteor hit and seeing so much new content across the map? Like, it was one of the coolest battle passes ever too, with the first customizable tier 100 skin, Omega. Like, this was it, and it looks like you guys agree. This was definitely peak Fortnite. We even got the hype dance that was literally everywhere and still is, almost more so than the floss. And Fortnite was the game in the world, and everybody, old and young, couldn't wait to hop in squads with friends. Now, building did start to take off a bit, but it wasn't so much that people couldn't keep up. It was just more of something you just wanted to improve on and also just enjoy the game and the map that some of you guys say is the best map we've ever seen in Fortnite. Just so many good locations, and everything was almost perfect. And don't forget about the Hot Rocks. It was like the perfect mobility and just so many mysteries that we wanted to find answers to, like what was the rocket? Who was the visitor? Why was there a military base hiding something in Dusty Divot? What the heck was under that ice cream truck that had 100,000 health? Which was just a chest, in case you guys were wondering. But this was the season, guys. There were things coming out of rifts, and there was even a whole superhero movie like film studio down in Moisty Mire. And then to exit the season was one of, if not the best live event we will ever see, when the rocket took off and the visitor was inside and broke through time, in and out of the Fortnite universe and our universe. Like, I get chills thinking about it still. And I hope Epic can get us back to something so amazing again someday. But until then, Season 4 was absolute peak Fortnite. So Season 5, where do you guys put Season 5? Can it even compete with Season 4? Yes, it can. Immediately, we got Paradise Palms, an entire new desert where Moisty Mire once was. So many of you guys say Season 5 was the best season. We even lost Anarchy Acres for Lazy Links, which a lot of people love. Tomato Town was gone. Moisty Mire was gone. To a lot of people, those were their least favorite spots on the map anyway, so that was huge. And even though it wasn't a named location, how awesome was that Viking spot on top of the mountain? Now, I personally think this was the best Fortnite map ever. And don't forget about the racetrack too, but Epic actually started fixing shotguns and stuff from hitting like 7 damage. That was a huge meme in the community. They nerfed double pump. We got the ATK, which was like the best vehicle in Fortnite ever and could carry the whole squad. Some of you guys forgot too. This is where Epic started moving the end circles in random directions instead of just shrinking and closing, to make it more fun and to get players to move instead of just camping. It was some awesome changes, but then the storyline hit and everybody was just like, oh, okay. The cube popped up in the desert, right? It was super exciting at first. Everybody was like, what is this thing? But then it just flipped over and over across the map. We thought something huge was going to happen from it. We all waited to see it flip every few hours, and nothing really happened besides some low gravity zones. And then at the end of Season 5, the cube just fell into the lake and made it bouncy. And then, yeah, it was kind of cool to see Kevin lift up the loot lake house into the sky, but that was it. Everybody was standing around like, all right, what else? Which again, it wasn't bad. But after the rocket event, it was like going from the Travis Scott concert to the Deadmau5 concert. It was cool, but after we just saw, it was kind of a letdown. And on top of all this, the Battle Pass wasn't that great. And almost nobody uses Ragnarok anymore. At least I don't see it. Although the Sunstrider skin became a pretty sweaty skin. Now, even though this season had some downsides, I still do think it was up there in peak Fortnite. But just barely, because with Season 6 came the downfall of Fortnite. So get ready. Now, Season 6 was the first season that we saw the sweats and building really come alive, and people started to leave Fortnite by the droves. Mid-September and the start of Season 6 was the last time we ever saw Fortnite dominate worldwide culture as a gaming phenomenon. Overbuilding and turtling that carried over from the summer skirmish in Season 5 was the beginning of the end for Fortnite. Everybody felt a huge difference in gameplay, and what was once a goofy, fun game to mess around in with friends became not feeling good enough to play or can't keep up and became overwhelming. Season 6 dropped Fortnite down to its lowest point since it blew up. The only new locations were the floating island, the haunted castle above haunted hills. Do you guys even remember that? And then the corrupted areas that had shadow stones, which were pretty cool, I guess, and a few chests. It was definitely a darker theme, which makes sense because it was during Halloween, but people hated the zombies in Fortnitemares. This turned the Battle Royale into like a PvE game in some spots. And even though you can get good items and shield from farming zombies, it gave your position away. It felt like somebody would always hear you shooting the zombies and eliminate you first while you ran out of ammo and had no mats to build. Now, the Battle Pass, it was super Halloween based too. Maybe you guys liked it, but skins like DJ Yonder and Giddy Up, they're laughed at. Like you guys can see in our newbiest skins video that we have, but then also skins like Nightshade and Dire are barely used anymore, although Calamity was pretty cool for a while there. It was just a disaster of a season and people couldn't wait for it to end, so we could give this one a small yikes, since it did bring us pets and custom lobby music, and of course the Butterfly live event was pretty amazing. It's only saving grace, but overall, this was the first season that showed a lot of people that Epic can get things wrong sometimes and that Fortnite wasn't untouchable. Now, Season 7 came in with a huge iceberg colliding with the southwest part of the map and bringing in snow and Christmas, which I love Christmas. And some of you guys tell me this was your favorite season, but just wait. We got holiday skins, the Ice King, we got Frosty Flights, Happy Hamlet, Polar Peak, which a lot of people did hate, and then we got the block. So not bad, right? But we got planes and the Infinity Blade. Now, if there's one thing we remember about Season 7, it was the chaos and clash, the war of the competitive Fortnite world and the casual player world. And this was a ticking time bomb. Literally an entire tournament, the Winter Skirmish, was ruined in Season 7 and made Fortnite the laughing stock of the esports world with the legendary Infinity Blade. And pros were even flying planes high in the air and pretending to shoot at each other and missing on purpose just to avoid fighting on the ground so that they can just drop down and win later. It was a mess of a season competitively when it came to Epic, balancing between messing around, goofing off, and having fun and being competitive. It was still really fun for a lot of us though, because we love the planes, but what a disaster of a season when it came to community turmoil and the first true controversy of Fortnite began. Now, pros were complaining on Twitter all the time, but casual players, they hit back. They wanted more wacky, fun items and vehicles. Now, the one saving grace of Season 7 was the Marshmello concert, but again, this could have happened during any season, and it was even way later in Season 7. It tried to save Fortnite, but not even a 10-minute long live concert from Marshmello could do it. Fortnite was heading downhill, and the Season 7 live event of a massive disco ball in the sky for New Year's couldn't make people care. And Epic told us later that Siphon actually caused a ton of players to leave the game forever. Even the storyline got kind of confusing between the Ice King and the Prisoner and Sergeant Winter, and players started to care less about it, and the game felt less immersive because of it. It wasn't a big yikes, but it was close to it when you remember how tense things got between competitive and casual players, and the battle of goofy fun Fortnite and serious competitive Fortnite began. But luckily, Season 8 tried to save the game. So with Season 8 came the volcano. Planes got vaulted, pirates took over, we had Lazy Lagoon. Some players like C9 Keo think it was the best spot ever for competitive Fortnite, saying start of Season 8 was quite the ride. Siphon and pubs, no planes, ballers hadn't come out yet, flint knock, hunting rifle, hoverboard, quad crasher, shockwaves, impulses, I think, bouncers, jump pads was a solo squad pub stomping dream. And Keo was right. This was a competitive player's dream because noobs were still everywhere. So good players got super high kill games with Siphon and were always at full health and shield. Now, like I said, Epic found that Siphon actually made players quit, so they took it away. And again, a huge backlash from everybody. But I think Tfue actually was the one who said Epic was right on this, surprisingly. The storyline eventually brought us to the unvaulting event. And again, half the player base freaked out when drum guns were voted to be brought back into the game. They said Epic just picked the drum gun and pretended like people voted for it and stuff. It was crazy how heated the end of Season 8 got. And it all ended with a literal boom as the volcano exploded and destroyed Tilted, Retail Row, and cracked the ice under Polar Peak. Then we saw Jonesy and Peely run to a bunker and come out later with a futuristic world for Season 9, although Peely was now a smoothie. But Season 8 itself was really fun to play, I think, with the volcano geysers, pirates, tons of variety on the map, but outside of the gameplay, the chaos in the community grew. Now, Season 9 came along and brought Neo Tilted, Mega Mall, the Pressure Plant. The storyline kind of got it together with the Polar Peak monster and the mecha having a huge fight. Now, the slipstreams were super fun, but also super dangerous since you got third-partied in like every fight you were in. But the Battle Pass and everything, it was pretty good. Fortnite just seemed to stabilize a bit between the pros versus the casual community, but in turn, it also felt kind of boring and repetitive throughout the season, which resulted in even more drop-off in interest in Fortnite. There was good, there was bad. I'd say overall, it was an average season with not a ton of new content, but it felt much calmer and gave Epic a little breather before, you guessed it, Season 10. Let's just throw Season 10 down to the big yikes here. Some of you guys told me you liked Season 10, but only when the mechs were removed later in the season. Some of you even really liked the mechs, and I'm not going to say anything. You can like them. I mean, it was fun killing an entire squad without looking at your monitor, as Tim the Tatman showed in one of our other videos you guys can check out next, but it's hard to even remember anything in the season except for the mechs. Pros like Ninja, Tfue, literally everyone lost their minds, and Epic didn't seem to listen or care. For months, people quit left and right, players boycotted the game and refused to buy anything in the item shop because no matter what you did, you'd get hit by rockets and die even in full metal builds. Epic wanted noobs to be able to win more games, and this was their solution. It was an absolute embarrassment for Fortnite as pros quit in the middle of tournaments because they couldn't handle the game anymore. Fortnite had reached an all-time low, and it seemed like nothing could save it. So what did Epic do? They made it all disappear. October 13, 2019, the Fortnite world ended, leaving us with one little tiny black hole for 2 days in a row. The world watched a black hole for 48 hours straight and panic spread across the community. Was Fortnite actually over? What is going to happen? Nobody could even play a game of Fortnite, and then just like that, Chapter 2, Season 1 began. Now, to save you guys time, let's just throw in Chapter 2, Season 1 and 2 together since they suffer from the same problems. As Ninja said it best, Epic put something down in about Season 7 or 8 and it was never picked up again. The storyline flopped. Not many people care to follow it. There's hardly any new content minus just old content coming back. The new map didn't change the way people felt about the game, and people still wish the old map would come back and say it every single day. Although I don't think they'd be happy if the old map actually did return. But the charm of Fortnite, it fell off. Building and editing became a must instead of a bonus in fights. Winning became a must instead of goofing around with friends. Practice in creative mode was a must if you wanted any chance at all at winning, and nearly every fight feels like a sweat fest. Epic is messing around with skill-based matchmaking, so we can stop some noobs again maybe instead of only having to play against players of our skill level. But where will Fortnite go at this point? Can it recover? Is this game that just a short time ago took over the world all of a sudden over within a year or two? I still have hope in Epic. I know they have big plans with season extensions, lack of communication, Fortnite's biggest players leaving for other games. It's in a lonely spot. Still near the top of gaming, but a lonely spot. We are all hoping that Epic can bring back the joy we all once had in Fortnite, but time will tell. Hit like and sub if you guys didn't already. Be sure to catch our other videos right now if you like this one. I know some things I probably got wrong in this video since it's a ton to try to get right, but I really hope you guys at least enjoyed the walk down memory lane with me and what might be considered the greatest game of all time, but we still have to beat Minecraft. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love, Denver.